Hello everyone, and welcome to the Peddling Prince's Podium. I'm your host, John Ardelli. All of the music that I use on this show comes from one of three sources. Either it's the music that comes with GarageBand, which comes with the software free for use in your projects. It's in the public domain, the copyright is expired. Or it's licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, where an artist put it out there and allows people to use it, so long as you give that artist credit. And particularly the work of Kevin MacLeod, who has an extensive and excellent library of Creative Commons royalty-free music, is heavily represented on this show. So I know, never have I ever used copyrighted material on this show. It's either something I have permission to use or public domain. So you can imagine my surprise when I got a notice from YouTube saying that the soundtrack on one of my shows had been identified as copyrighted material. Specifically, the music, which is used in the Cosset House Tied Up in Red Tape episode. I did some investigating on this. They identified it as being Beautiful Morning by a band called the Lovers Wedding Band. And I actually located that music and listened to it a little bit online, and it is a very similar recording to the one I used, but not quite identical. It was a few seconds shorter, or longer, I forget which it was, but it wasn't quite the same length. But it was the same piece. But the piece I actually used, the actual version, was, again, Kevin MacLeod. It was Brandenburg's Concerto No. 4 in G, Movement 1. So it's a classical piece, so the music itself is public domain, and the performance I used was Kevin MacLeod's. So I tried to dispute it, to say, okay, I understand, this was a mistake. But according to the notice I got back, about a couple weeks later, they had reviewed it, at least ostensibly had reviewed it, and said, no, this is ours, we're laying claim to it, and their name still appears on that video, even though it is not their work. Well, this has been kind of getting on my nerves, and I've been trying, so I wrote to their representatives, the Orchard Music Group, and asked them to clear it up, but I never heard back from them. But then, only a few days ago, I got another one of these notifications, this time on my teaser episode. That is the episode that I put on my blog that announced the beginning of this show, before the first official episode. And again, all that was the theme I used for the show, and the theme I used for the show came from GarageBand. It's called Broadcast News, and there are long, medium, and short versions. I used the medium version for my opening title, and the end of the long version for the end of the show. But they claimed that it was by some artist named Raymond Samso, and the title was, I don't know what language it was in, but a really long title. I did a search on it. Turns out that Raymond Samso isn't even a musician. He's a writer, and what they'd identified it as was one of his audiobook recordings. When I checked out the recording, it was spoken word. And the recording was like 7.5 minutes long, versus the recording I actually used was only 41 seconds long. So I'm like, how the heck did that happen? So again, I put in a dispute. But then while I was doing that, I happened to notice the representative was the Orchard Music Group, the same people who represented the Lovers Wedding Band. So I thought, that's a little strange. So I did a little search and did a little research on the Orchard Music Group. Imagine my surprise when I found out that the Orchard Music Group has had this kind of complaint before. Literally thousands of times. Apparently, they have been laying claim to music all over YouTube. And every time someone tries to dispute their claim, they'll either say that it is still, in fact, theirs, or if somebody really pursues it, they've actually given the lame excuse, oh, well, this is an automated thing. YouTube does that. It's not our fault. That's only part of the truth, though. YouTube does have an automated system that scans their content and looks for illegally uploaded copyright material. That is true. But if the system identifies something incorrectly, and sometimes it will, and someone files a dispute, then it is the responsibility of the person who holds the copyrighted material to review the video to make sure it is in fact their work that was identified. And if it wasn't, to remove the credit. There's nothing that bugs me more than someone tries to take credit for someone else's work. If I use someone else's work with their permission, I make sure they get a credit on my show. I even credit the people who shoot my show. Like, you've seen videography credits on my show. I am a stickler for making sure that if someone contributes to my show, other than myself, that they get the proper credit for it. So it irritates me. The Orchard Music Group is saying that they own content that's on my show when they don't. And this is just a matter of principle for me. But what about people like John Paula of Jogwheel Productions, who produces Was It a Good Idea to Microwave This, among many other excellent shows? He lives off of YouTube. He gets money each time his videos are viewed. If that was ever to happen to him, the Orchard Music Group was to do this to him, he would stop receiving money for that video. And that's the same for anyone else who's making money off of YouTube. So they could be hauling money out of people's pockets. So I wrote to them and I said to them, okay, here's the deal, guys. If you don't take these credits off of my videos by Saturday, I'm doing an expose on you on my show. You're watching this, and that means that they didn't get back to me, and those credits are still up. So, if you are a YouTube user, and you've gotten a copyright claim from an organization called the Orchard Music Group, then I strongly urge you to dispute it and contact the Orchard Music Group directly. I've put their contact information, their mailing address, phone numbers, email address, and website in the doobly-doo below. And I urge you to nail them. And if you are the owner of the copyright of the material they're claiming, call your lawyer and nail them. Because these people are harassing YouTube users for all intents and purposes and claiming stuff that isn't theirs. So I will not allow the Orchard Music Group or anyone to claim music or any other content on my show that is not theirs. That's just not happening on my show. So if you are a representative from the Orchard Music Group and you're watching this, you go to my video, Cosset House Tied Up in Red Tape, the link to that is in the doobly-doo below, and remove your credit. That music belongs to Kevin MacLeod, not the Lovers Wedding Band. And as for your claim on my teaser, that is the same music I use for the theme of this show, which comes with GarageBand, which Apple Computers has licensed with that software free for use and for anyone who's using their software. So that doesn't belong to you either. Take those credits down now. You don't deserve them. You didn't do the work, and your artist did not do the work, and they should not receive credit on my videos for stuff they did not do. Thank you for watching the Peddling Prince's Podium. I'm your host, John Ardelli, and I hope to see you all again here next week. Bye for now.